Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Wade All City 12 Encore. So the All City line has been very solid from Way of Wade, and of course Way of Wade is Dwayne Wade's company under Li Ning. And yeah, Way of Wade has been killing it. You know, for the past couple of years, they make amazing performers, really good quality shoes for a really good price, right? Especially for the tech that you get. Besides like his signature shoe, like that shoe is freaking expensive. Like the Wow 11 is $225. It's a really good performer, really good shoe, but $225 is kind of crazy, you know? But this shoe retails for 150 bucks, which is like mid-tier pricing, which is very nice, especially for the tech that you're getting. So yeah, I got the avocado colorway right over here. I got the 305 colorway over here, and also the announcement colorway, right? This shoe reminds me a lot of like Harden's with the kind of different colorway, you know, right here in the toe box, like different color, like it's very polarizing, you know? So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave in the free link in the description box. If you do choose to get this shoe, it does help me out if you buy it through, it's like my link tree, you know what I mean? So it'll go through my link tree and then you can click it there. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. But let's get started off with the tracciones. And for the traction, it's really freaking nice, and it's what they're calling GCUs, or ground control unit. And of course Li Ning is Li Ning's technology, but Way of Wade is owned by Li Ning. And GCU is, they did R&D and they made kind of like a better rubber compound, or they're saying it's like a polyurethane kind of compound with rubber. It's like mixed together. But either way, whatever, they did some research and development and made this, which is like awesome, you know what I mean? Because traction, of course, is the most important aspect in a basketball shoe for most people. Like when you're playing basketball, you don't be sliding all over the place. So yeah, traction and grip is really important. And if a company like does some research and development and develops a rubber that has better grip than traditional rubber, but also better durability, right? Wear resistance, and also better performance on dust, that's awesome. You know what I mean? And that's what they say in their tech specs. And from my personal experience with GCU, with all of like Li Ning's and Way of Wade shoe, especially like the Wow 11, the JV2, it's really nice, right? So if you're playing on a clean court, it literally stops instantaneously, and it reminds me a lot of like flows. You know what I mean? Like the Curry flows, you stop really hard. You know what I mean? I would say the Currys stop a little bit harder, but these stop almost just as hard, right? So if you're playing on a clean court, really freaking nice. Also, a side note, like the JB2, now no squeak. It's a very silent shoe, right? But the All City 12 has a very nice, loud, high-pitched squeak, which of course has nothing to do with performance, but I feel like hoopers want to know, or a good amount of hoopers want to know if it's squeaky or not, because they like to have a squeak. Just like me, I like a nice squeak from my hoop shoes, right? So yeah, this shoe, loud squeak. However, you do need to break it in, right? So it's kind of weird, you know? So it has like a really weird, like, it's not a squeak, but like a weird noise to it. You know, it reminds me a little bit of the JB2, obviously, because it is JB2, but like has a weird noise to it, especially once you first get it. And also, if you're playing on a dusty court, it does slide around a little bit when you're playing on dusty court at first, right? But I was like, oh, it's kind of weird. It's sliding out just like a little bit. It's like inconsistent, right? Like for some movements, it would slide around just a tiny bit. But for some other movements, it will be really good. So that was weird. But once I broke it in and kept playing in it, it got better and better. And the dust performance on this is really good now, right? It picks up very minimal dust, but if it does pick up dust, it's a really easy wipe, and it bites through dust pretty dang well. So dust performance is also really nice. And for durability, however, I don't know, guys. I mean, they are saying, of course, it is wear resistant, but the grooves aren't that deep, you know what I mean? And when I feel it, I mean, I guess it doesn't feel super soft, but I don't know, if we're taking, you know, Way of Wade's word on it, it would be good on outdoor court, but just be wary of that. Take it with a grain of salt. I didn't play with these shoes on outdoor court. I'm just judging by like, you know, how hard the rubber is and how deep the grooves are, and the grooves aren't super deep, so just be careful with that. I would say it's probably gonna be pretty good on outdoor court. So yeah, the traction, I had a really good time playing in the shoe because of the really good performance for traction. Now moving on to the heel to toe transition, also very, very nice, right? So here in the heel, like when I first saw it, I was like, yo, it's hella caged. I thought it was gonna be very clunky, very boot-like here in the heel, but like when you press it, there's actually a little bit of compression from the actual plastic, and also here on the bottom of the shoe, like where the rubber is, it's also kind of soft. So it actually doesn't feel clunky at all here in the heel. You also have a nice rounded shape. And then here in the forefoot, we have a nice curved shape as well, like a nice rocker shape. And then for the forefoot flex, we actually have a very flexible forefoot. Look at that, right? So it's a very easy flex, very smooth flex as well, but also it actually has a little bit of rebound back, you know what I mean? So it's a really nice, smooth feeling heel to toe transition, especially if you're doing heel dominant strides down the court or kind of like out of your first step. And also it has a little bit of springiness as well. So heel to toe transition, very, very nice. And now moving on to the cushioning setup, which is one of my favorite parts about this shoe, right? So it is using full length boom, and it just kept getting better and better, right? So overall, like the court feel is pretty good. It's better than average, I would say. But also the step and cover is really, really nice. Like when you first get it, it's soft, but then once you keep breaking it in and keep playing in it, it gets softer and softer. And also boom also has a little bit of bounce back, you know what I mean? So yeah, first of all, the insole is just a regular insole, nothing amazing, but if you look underneath that, we have a very soft mesh struggle board. It's extremely soft, right? And it's full length. So here in the heel, midfoot, and forefoot, you can feel that boom, fully unadulterated USDA organic boom, guys, and that is right underneath your foot, so you have a nice soft compression and bounce, and it feels really nice. Combining that with the good court feel, it's just a really nice feel, you know what I mean? I feel like if they made it a little bit thicker, it might be too soft, but for me, it's just the perfect amount, you know? So, and also, like I said, we actually have a little bit of compression here in the heel because it's not super stiff for the plastic. So yeah, impact protection is amazing. Your foot is not gonna hurt at all. Even on harder impacts, it's gonna be good to go. Court feel is pretty good. Step and comfort, underfoot cushion is great. Has a little subtle bounce as well for the entire foot. So yeah, it's an amazing cushioning setup. I really, really enjoyed it. So there's that. Moving on to the upper. So the upper, they made this shoe and tried to design it for casual use and also obviously for basketball. And you can tell with the material choices, right? So in the 305 colorway, we have like a leather material, which does feel pretty dang nice here in the toe box. Same thing here for the announcement, right? But for the avocado, we have a leather around the toe box, but a mesh material here in the middle of the toe box. So it's a little bit different, but it's a pretty similar feel. It's just a little bit softer here for the mesh material comparing to this one. But yeah, still soft, thin, supportive. I do like how it feels. Overall durability is going to be great too. And then here in the midfoot, we have a very open mesh. It's literally see-through, so you have good ventilation through that too. For the tongue, we have like a ribbed foam, kind of like on top right here, but on the bottom right here is just a really thin cloth material, and it's also like a half booty construction tongue almost, but it's like a flat tongue, and it reminds me of the LeBron 16s if you guys remember that. And then here in the ankle area, we have very minimal padding, like on the sides very minimal, and then here in the back of the heel, however, it is quite thick, you know what I mean? So which we'll get into for that. And also the lining material is like this very open mesh, which is pretty cool. I like that, right? So yeah, it's a very minimal feeling upper, which also feels pretty dang supportive, surprisingly, you know? So yeah, not a whole lot of padding with this. And also here in the heel, we have the most striking feature about this shoe, which is the heel counter, right? Which is, it's a crazy heel, but honestly, it's not that bad. You know, it's not as bad as I thought it would be with, like, you know, the clunkiness and stuff like that. So there's that. Moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size, and the shoe fits me pretty dang good because I feel like all this padding, right? There's a good amount of padding here in the heel. It just kind of pushes my foot a little bit, right? And your heel is gonna be like right over here, right there, and then you have all this extra space, especially with this external heel counter. So going up half a size, it was pretty good for me, but once I broke it in, obviously this foam, it bottoms out a little bit, and I feel like there's a little bit of length, right? So if you do want a very nice snug fit lengthwise, probably go true to size, but just be careful, it'll probably be a little bit snug when you first get it, right? But for me, going up half a size, not that bad, but there is a little bit of length, right? Also here in the toe box, it's around normal snugness. It's not super snug, it's not super roomy or anything. I could curl my toes up just a tiny bit, especially with this. material with the textile material, but with the leather material, it's still kind of snug, you know, from when I first got it. So there's a little bit of a difference there for the fit. And then here in the midfoot area, it's around normal width as well. And also we have a very nice high heel tab, which makes this shoe very easy to slip on. So yeah, the overall fit for me was pretty nice going up half a size, but if you do want a snug fit, go true to size. So there is a fit there. Moving on to the support and lockdown, zero issues for me, right? So for lateral containment, this material overall is pretty supportive, but also we do have, look at this, the GCU rubber coming up acting as a sidewall here in the forefoot. And also, of course, we have this crazy external heel counter. So lateral containment, my foot was not coming out of the footbed really at all. And also this material is pretty dang supportive. And lateral stability was really good for me too, right? You guys can see how wide the shoe is here in the midfoot slash forefoot right here. Right? It like protrudes out a good amount, you're low to the ground, so lateral stability was good. And also I didn't really have any issues with heel lockdown or anything. And one thing that I did play in was the Harden Volume 2, because this shoe looks pretty similar in design a little bit, right? But it does feel a little bit different because the Harden Volume 2 is pretty much like a one booty upper kind of. But also you guys remember how low this the heel sat on your heel? Or the heel part sat on your heel. That felt kind of weird, but obviously for the All City 12, it didn't do that. So yeah, overall support and lockdown, very, very nice in this shoe. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. If I remember correctly, it's around average weight, right? Yeah, 12.4 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 12.4 ounces. Let's check the other colorway. Yeah, 12.05 versus 12.4, that's pretty interesting. Let's check this colorway, the announcement, 12.4. Why is this colorway so much lighter? 0.4 ounces lighter, that's weird. 12.1, what the? I don't know. I mean, like 0.3, ounces, that's kind of normal, especially like even on left to right pairs of shoes, but that's kind of weird, you know what I mean? But anyways, it's around average weight. And yeah, it feels pretty minimal, but it does feel a little bulky here in the heel because it just protrudes out a good amount. You know what I mean? But overall, when you're playing in it though, you do feel pretty dang responsive. You do feel very quick, but also it's a really comfortable shoe because the cushion is so comfortable, right? So yeah, I really like that because a lot of responsive shoes don't feel like that. You know what I mean? Like really responsive shoes have like a stiffer cushion, but with this, you feel very sturdy. You feel very like kind of grounded, right, in this shoe, because the support is good, but still the traction is great. The cushion's super comfortable while having a little bit of bounce and good court feel. So when I was playing this shoe, it felt really nice on foot. And now moving on to the ventilation. Ventilation is pretty dang good, right? So like I said, we have this really thin mesh material on the lateral and medial sides of the shoe. So that is pretty dang good for airflow. Here in the toe box, not that, obviously with the leather, it's not that good, but with this, it's a little bit better, obviously, right? So ventilation is pretty good. And now moving on to the aesthetics, I really like it. You know what I mean? This shoe definitely grew on me. I didn't really like it at first when I first saw it, but especially with the announcement, you know, this colorway looks super clean, and also in the back of the shoe with this external heel counter, very, very striking, very noticeable as well. And I definitely feel like you can definitely rock it off court too. You know what I mean? It doesn't really look like a hoop shoe that much. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, they did it again. They killed it. You know what I mean? And they definitely improved upon the All City 12, and I definitely feel like it's an upgrade, right? The cushion, really, really nice and comfortable, and the All City line has had really good cushion with the full length boom, of course, but they did improve the traction with the GCU and also improved upon the support, especially comparing it to like the summer edition with the mesh material. That kind of like mesh material is really thin and not super supportive, but with this, they actually managed to keep the shoe pretty dang supportive. So yeah, I definitely also think this shoe is really great for everyone. You know, if you're a guard and you want to feel quick, this is a great option while still having a really comfortable feel. But also for bigger dudes, if you like, this shoe is adequate for support while still having really good cushion. So yeah, whatever your play style is and whatever your size is, I definitely feel like most people will enjoy this shoe. So that about wraps up my performance review of the Wade All City 12 Encore. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.